Lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I am NGWBASIL in case you don't already know. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own crochet wig from start to finish, from scratch to finished, alright? And I'm going to be showing you how to save some coins while at it, alright? While at it. How to save some coins while at it, alright? I'm going to also show you how to distribute, how to actually just make the wig from start to finish, how to distribute the weight so it's not so heavy on your head. Alright, so if this sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to keep on watching this video. Love you! Mwah. So lovely, I'm just going to be starting what you're going to be needing for this week. You're going to be needing the attachment you will use, the color you want to use. I'm going to be using the red and black because I need it for the crocheting of the hair on the crochet. And then I'm going to be using my wig cap on my mannequin head. Alright, you could do this on someone's head if you don't have a mannequin head. Alright, so that's basically it. I'm just going to put in that wig cap on my mannequin head, have it sit tightly, and then pin it down on all four sides. You want to do this because while you're crocheting, you do not want the wig cap to raise up because that will disrupt your flow of work. So you want to also pin the hook because that can also get in your way. You just want everything to be out of your way, right? So I'm just going to pin down the crochet I'm going to be using. This is not me really sewing it down. I just want to pin it down because I'm going to be prepping the wig cap for crocheting. I'm going to be prepping it, so I need the crochet to mark. I need the what's it called, the lace to mark what I'm doing. So I'm just going to be using my index finger and something else. I don't know what the other finger is called, but I'm going to be using my two fingers to measure out where I'm going to be placing my braids. This makes it a whole lot easier and it makes the braid more distributed, if you get what I mean. You're going to see it's going to help you cover, and it's going to make sure that the back is not so bulky when you're making it, because if the back of your wig is bulky, it's going to affect the weight, and the weight is going to kind of be pulling you down, and you're not going to be able to, like, you know, wear the wig comfortably as you would like. So I'm just going to mark that out. As you can see, basically I'm just going to go ahead and mark that out. So while marking this out, you can go ahead to use any pencil. It doesn't have to be any color. You can use any pencil you have and just mark it from the middle to the sides and to the sides, basically. So that's it, loves. That's it for prepping the wig cap. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead to prep the attachments we're going to be using. I'm using this expression attachment and I'm using it in the shade BG. Alright, so for the length, I'm just going to cut it like 2 knots down. I kind of just know how I cut it, but you can go ahead to divide into 4, to divide into 2, however you want your braids to be long. And you can actually divide into 2 and then add while you're making the hair, but I didn't want to do that. Alright, so if you make your wig or your attachment as long as mine, I advise you to go into like small pieces while you're trying to stretch it, because why, right? Because it's so long, and if you do it so bulky, it's just going to get tangled and messed up, mostly when you're just starting or you're a beginner. So I advise you take like little pieces and then just stretch it out. It's going to be a lot easier and less time consuming actually, because while brushing it out, if it's bulky, it's going to take time. So for longer attachment, I actually use brushes and not comb, because brushes just works more, it works better, it helps you better actually than using comb for longer attachment. You can go ahead afterwards to comb it, but like brushing it, it's just okay, it's actually very fine. So I'm just going to brush out that tangle part out, and after brushing it, I'm going to apply my hair cream to just have it very sleek and smooth for us to make our wig with. Alright, so I've already gone in and started making the wig, right? And I just went in on those lines. All right, I didn't go more than those lines. I'm just going in on the lines, as you can see. And what I'm doing, if you notice, I'm putting the attachment, or I'm putting a new braid in the middle of the down braids, like in the middle where there is no braid, if that makes any sense. But that's what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to go in and crochet the new braid in. So I'm not doing anything more than the usual. Actually, I'm just going in with the same crochet pin, put it into the net, and then drag my crochet the other parts of the end of the crochet. I'm going to show you again while doing it, and just drag it out basically. So I'll make sure the length is equal. You want to check your length. All right, it's very important that you check your length so you don't have some longer than some. And I'm just going to ahead and take another piece and put that in the middle, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tie it. All right, tying it is a way of securing it. All right, so you just go ahead, tie it immediately, hold it, and then braid it as you would normally braid your attachment. Yeah, you also want to do a length check for it also before you start braiding. A length check for the middle one, and then you tie it again. Make sure it's very tight. All right, you don't want it to be loosed while you're making. Make sure it's very tight, and then you just go ahead to braid as you would normally do. So guys, so this is the not important or tricky part, but this is like the important part. Yes, isn't it? Is the important part. So I'm just going to go ahead and just mark the middle of that crochet. All right, you could actually go ahead to buy a frontal if you don't want to go through this process. All right, it's actually very self-explanatory, but I'm just going to say you can go ahead buy your frontal, but I'm telling you this will save you a little bit of coins. All right, it's going to save you a little bit. If you want to go ahead, then that's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark where I'm going to be crocheting that black attachment we're going to be using. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it out. All right, you can just do this free-handedly. I don't know what I'm measuring, but then I just really wanted it to kind of be similar in a way and not have one looking smaller or bigger than one. So you don't have to be so detailed. Just go ahead, mark it, and then that's it. Just know where it should be suitable for you. All right, but one thing I failed to do, that okay, I did a tutorial for you to know what I failed to do so you can do it. One thing I think I failed to do, I made everything a center part, if that makes any sense. I made it a center part instead of putting some to go to the back so it can cover the crochet net at the back. All right, so I could have made some, maybe like 2 lines go to the back, while like 3 lines go to the side as a middle part. I don't know if that makes any sense. If you're confused of what I said, please ask me in the comment section, but that's what I should have done. So I'm just going to go in and sew my crochet net down. It doesn't matter which you do first actually. So yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew that down. I've actually sewed the other side, right? You can see it looks a little messed up. That's because I was just getting into it. I've not gotten into it. You're going to see this side looks a lot neater. So basically you're going to sew one side and then come to the other side and sew the other side. I don't think it's really necessary, but it's kind of necessary, but I don't think it's like a necessity. All right, you can just go ahead and use one, but using two, first of all, it ensures that it doesn't lose. Like if one side start losing, the other side will not start losing. It's not like you have two sides losing. And another thing is that it helps your wig to be like way flat, and if you're sewing from the back, there's a possibility that it won't be well measured, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so using two needles is kind of necessary, but not a must. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to tie that down because we don't want our lace losing. All right, we don't want our lace losing anytime soon. So you're just going to go ahead and tie that really tightly and really securely. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same for the other side. All right, no biggie, just go ahead to do the same thing. But I don't even think my center part is so straight. All right, so make sure you're set so straight. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut my black attachment now, and I also went ahead to stretch it, but it's not a necessity you stretch it actually, because you're just using it for the crochet. So it's not really a must that you stretch it out, if I should add. But I went ahead to stretch mine a little bit, and you don't have to make it this long. I went ahead to cut it into 4, but you don't have to make it this long. A little length will just go a long way. I don't know why I made mine long. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, ventilate, but it's ventilating, but I'm using a crochet pin. So let me just say I'm going to go ahead and crochet that in on the lines I've drawn. You can actually also draw the line of the front where you want the front line to be. I don't know why I didn't do that, but yeah, so you can actually go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to crochet on the lines we've drawn. So I'm just going to say I'm just crocheting around the square. I'm not crocheting inside, just around the square. I'm just going to go ahead to weave that down. It's preferable you weave it down so you know what you're doing, so you see what you're doing and know what you should be doing basically. So just weave it into a braid, and that will help. So now I'm done with making one side of the wig. You can see how full that looks and how well covered that looks. So I'm just going to go ahead to show you how I did that and how I covered that. And I'm just going to go ahead, take my crochet pin, go under the net of the wig cap and under the net of the lace. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up, and then take the hair I have on my hand and pull it inside basically. So that kind of like, you can bring the crochet pin more in. I should have done that. I should have brought it more close to the black hair I crocheted so that the lace doesn't show. All right, I should have done that. So if you're doing that, please make sure to do it that way, because it helps your lace not show more. So if I'd gone in a bit closer to that black, it would have been a whole lot better, I tell you. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that right in the middle and then tie it and then braid as I would normally do. All right, that's basically how I kind of cover the crochet nets with close to the closure. It's kind of merging the closure and the wig cap together. All right. So lovelies, I'm done with showing you how to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how I make the frontal. I'm still going to show you one more clip of how I make the frontal, but firstly I'm going to apply my mousse. This actually makes the hair kind of a bit more sleepy. I don't know how to explain it. What's the word? Like, it makes it not frizzy in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just what works for me. You can go ahead to use an hair cream or something, but the mousse really works for me. That's what I use whenever I'm making frontal, and it works for me. So I'm just gonna make this knotless kind of, but it's not like it's a knotless braid. I'm not trying to make a knotless braid, but this is how I like starting out my wig, so it looks kind of natural, if you get what I mean. I don't like when I have a big knot at the end of the hair or at the beginning of the hair. I just like when it's like it's flowing naturally, if you get what I mean. So this is how I always start my frontal, but you can go ahead and start it if you like the knot type. You can go ahead and just do it like that. I advise, if you're doing it, you should do it while you have someone over to finish the tip for you, because I was finishing by myself, so it took me a lot of time, and considering the hair is long, I should have done it while my sisters were around so they could finish the tip for me. But that's all right. So guys, I'm going to be making the hair, the frontal again. This is the last piece. I'm just going to making it on camera so you see from a different angle. I'm going to put in my mousse on it, and then I'm just going to braid it. So I'm just showing you the 3 different sizes I use while doing this kind of knotless finish. So I'm just going to divide the hair into 3, and then I'm just going to braiding it as usual, and then I'm just going to feed in my extension as I go by. All right, it's not going to be, I'm not going to wait a long time before I feed it in, because I'm not feeding it in for length, I'm feeding it in for volume. All right, so you don't have to waist in the end. So it's different if you're feeding in for volume and if you're feeding in for length. All right.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see.
So lovelies, after feeding in those 3 strands of braids, I'm just going to go ahead and weave it as I would normally do. All right, so the thing I try as much as possible to do is to make sure the black is not showing. If you can see, I'm turning it slightly just to make sure I'm braiding in the red more. The black will definitely show, but just make sure you take your time to make sure it doesn't show as much. Lovelies, we're done with the hair. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be trimming. So I'm just going to put them into a rubber band, put the whole hair into a rubber band, and then bring out one after the other and trim. I do not like burning my hair. You could go ahead to do so, but I do not really advise it. Alright, then I'm going to put it in hot water. I'm actually soaking it in hot water, like soaking the whole hair in hot water. This helps it become lighter. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply my mousse and rub it in very well. So that's it, guys. So now we're just going to put on the wig. Lovelies, we're done with the wig right now. I'm really happy with the outcome. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead to do is just to go ahead to cut this net, the wig cap, because we won't be needing that anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead to scissors, just. So lovelies, I just went ahead to cut this off, alright, because we won't be needing it on our wig cap. And this is what it's looking like right now. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead to use a powder. You can go ahead to use a foundation and a powder. I'm just going to go ahead with my sheet of powder that I normally use, and then just going to use a piece of what I'm just going to dab into it, right? And then I'm just using it to rub all over the leaves. So I'm just going to continuously do that. But I really advise you actually use a foundation instead of using just powder. Just use a foundation and a powder, and just, you know, just swirl around. Swirl around. Shall I just use the brush to go around the lace like this? See this side and see this side, so it matches more with your skin tone per se. Alright, so I'm just going to keep doing that. This is what it's looking like now. Alright, I finished brushing the powder all over. So I'm just going to put it on. I'm going to try it on per usual. Yeah, I didn't wear a wig cap, but you could absolutely wear a wig cap. I'm not going anywhere. This is like the video of the night that I'm filming this. Alright, so I'll just keep this back for now and then cut off this, our excess lace. So lovelies, this is the end of this tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly go ahead to show you the length. It's like pretty long. It's like really long. Actually, long for me because I'm not so, you know, it's like, it's over my butt cheek if I may say, but alright, so you can go ahead to cut it however you want. You can go ahead to make it however you want. If you want it shorter, then you can go ahead to make the attachment shorter or cut it into 2. This wasn't into 2 like you saw. This is like 1, but some length cut off from 1. Alright, so it's pretty long. Alright, so that's really it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you learned something. I really hope you can save some coins while you're doing yours too. Alright, I hope you can, you know, 2021. Yeah, we're saving some coins while looking good. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Alright, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for watching. So lovelies, you already know if you're watching the end of this video, you already know you're the what? You already know you're the real MVP. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys.